Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Suzette Vearnon, and it is a beautiful Monday morning, August the 26th exactly, and I'm here for my post episode commentary. As those of you know who've been following me week after week, I have a podcast named the Enough Factor Podcast that I release a new episode every Sunday morning at around 8 o'clock in the morning on Eastern Daylight Time. And on Mondays, that's the time that I sit here on Facebook Live, right? And I talk about the things that made me go, hmm. Well, the podcast yesterday was of yours truly. I didn't have a guest yesterday. I did a solo podcast, and the topic was nothing to prove, everything to be. The topic alone made me go, hmm. But as I listened back to it, there were different things that were said that really resonated with me as I listened back. But one of those things in particular was this. When someone asks who you are, it's how you answer the I am that makes the difference. But before I go into that, you might be new to this post-episode commentary, and you might be new to me. You don't know who I am. You just happen to stumble upon it, and you're listening live, or you're going to listen to the replay. Well, I am an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a life coach, and I'm a relationship solutionist. And I created my podcast because I wanted to create a platform from which I could help people redefine what makes them enough in life and in love, so they could experience life and love in a brand new way, but they could do it on their terms. And so that is the foundation upon which everything that I do is built. And that is helping people to discover their enough factor. What makes them enough? Their inherent quality, their inherent characteristics that make them enough for life, for love, for business, whatever they desire. They're enough. And while we hear that a lot, it's really become a catchphrase. I am enough. I am enough. There's always this little question that comes up for us when we face something we've never faced, or we are lured out of our comfort zone. And that question is why? If you can tell me why I am enough, if I can discover why, and it resonate down to the very bedrock of my being, and I am wholeheartedly convinced of it, then I cease to be in a struggle. I cease to be in doubt. I cease to be afraid. And so that is not just what I do, but that is the journey that I'm on. And I find that in this work, there is never an expert status where you can never attain an expert status, because life is ever unfolding. And every time it unfolds, you have to meet the challenge. and get an even deeper, richer, broader concept of your enoughness. Now, for those of you who have been following me, you know that I'm in that kind of situation now, because life uprooted me out of a situation that I had become very comfortable in. And now I am standing on the pinnacle with God, divine intelligence, my wise self, whatever name you want to call it. And I'm looking out into the vastness of possibilities, getting more and more clear about what that looks like for me as I stare down the barrel of 60 years old. My clarion or defining call was, I don't want my 60s to be like previous years. And then it became, well, what do you want your 60s to look like? What do you want your 60s to feel like? How do you want to show up in the world? How do you want the world to show up for you? Right? And so I have been working with a coach and working through these things. But the interesting thing that I have found while I've been praying for clarity, praying for illumination, praying for guidance, praying to get this thing right. Because the older you get, the more you realize you don't have a lot of time to keep right on with this trial and error way of living. That you have to get more intentional about your time, get more intentional about how you want to spend it. Get more intentional so that you don't get to the end of your days with regrets, with dreams that didn't come true, that you don't get to your end feeling like you wasted your life. So for me, where I am right now isn't just an idea, it's critical. I am in a critical space. And when you're in a critical space, you don't waste time on meaningless things. You try to squeeze out all the juice of the time that you have. And so this whole thing of who are you? And I pose that to you. Because when you're rising to meet whatever challenge, it's how you answer it that makes all the difference. Not what somebody else says, not how somebody else defines it, not anybody else's opinion, be it good, bad, or indifferent. It's how you answer it that makes all the difference in the world. So as I ponder this, what popped up in my mind immediately was the story of David and Goliath. Okay? And I brought it up on my cell phone because I wanted to read to you what stood out for me. Now, honestly, the whole story made so many bing bings go off in my mind and in my spirit that it will take me days to unpack it. But I just want to tell you, in the first few passages, what came up for me. Is that okay? Okay. The very first few passages, and I'm going to read this to you. Now, I might get the names of these places and stuff wrong. I may mispronounce them because I'm not a preacher. I am not a theologian. I'm not a scribe, a Sadducee, or a Pharisee. So if I don't pronounce it right, forget that. I just want you to get what came up for me that I wanted to share, that so much deals with I am. How I answer the question, who are you? As you stand on the pinnacle of wherever you are, looking over into your future, looking over into your destiny, looking over into the vision that you hold, looking over into your soul's desire. Who are you? Okay? So, with that in mind, this is what it says. And for those of you who do read the Bible and would love to, go back and look at it, it is taken from 1 Samuel chapter 17, verses 1 through 3, if you want to go back and look at it for yourself, okay? But it says, now the Philistines gathered their forces for war and assembled at Sokoh in Judah. They pitched camp at Ephraim between Sokoh and Asakah. Saul, he's the king, right? King of the Israelites, that is. Saul and the Israelites assembled and camped in the valley of Elah and drew up their battle line to meet the Philistines. Verse 3 was the one that really got me. The Philistines occupied one hill, the Israelites another, with the valley between them. And what leaped off this when I read it was the battle over your enoughness. The battle over your enoughness. This whole story of David and Goliath was a battle over your enoughness. And significantly for me, most times when I look at where I am and where I want to go, Goliath represents for me that's standing in the way of it. That is blocking me from having what I envision for my life. And I want to say here as a point of clarity, what you envision for your life may not be something tangible. You might not be able to see it in your imagination. Not yet. But you know the feeling that you want to have. And mine was, I want to live life on my terms. I wanted to get up every morning excited about my day. I wanted to do meaningful and fulfilling work, whatever that looked like. I wasn't sure at the time. And I wanted the revenues to support all the above. So that was the vision I held. And I didn't have a vehicle or anything tangible to align it with. I just knew that for me to have the maximum experience of life, those were the 4 things that I was clear that I wanted to have, okay? But back to what I was saying, standing where I am and looking at where I want to be, I looked at Goliath as this is what's blocking me from having it, right? But what I did not pay attention to, and in Sunday school, what kind of got swept over, and even in sermons that I heard, was the valley in between. Because there's Goliath and his army on this side. There's me and all I brought with me on this side. Between here and even Goliath is the valley. It's the valley. So what I am confronting isn't just Goliath standing in front of what is mine to occupy, what is mine to own, but the valley in between. There's a valley, Goliath, of what I'm destined to have. So this is just the introduction, because I think I really want to unpack this. I really, really do. As I go deeper in my study of it, both looking at it and accessing my inner wisdom, enlightenment, divinely inspired downloads, I would like to share it with you, especially if you're someone who is feeling the wooing of something that you can't see. But you know it's pulling you because you're finding yourself saying, there's got to be something better than this. You're finding yourself saying, this is not working for me anymore. You're finding yourself saying, this job is too small for me. I was meant for more. I have more to offer than this. Those of you who are sensing the wooing of something, even if you don't know what it is. And those of you who know what it is, you've done the work to get clear about what it is, but you still have the valley and Goliath. And I'm here to point out, you're looking at Goliath. You're looking at Goliath, but aren't seeing, but there's a valley. And what that really means, what part the valley plays in the battle over your enoughness. And I say the battle over your enoughness because you are enough. So it can't be the battle for your enoughness, because that is just, it just is. Just like you are alive and you're just sitting here, no matter how you feel, no matter how you show up, that you exist. Well, your enoughness is. And while you can't lose your enoughness, you can lose your ability to see it. And so to help us to get clear as we unpack this, and I'm unpacking this, but I'm the kind of person that I love to share what I discover. And if you feel like this will benefit you or benefit someone else, tell them, share this with them. And then next Monday at around 12 noon, 12:15-ish, let's meet back. Let's meet back so we can go a little deeper into this. Because I don't know about you, but something gets released in me for me when I talk through things or I write things down. So this right here, I believe, is something that I've been given to help me to navigate this new place, this new terrain, this new critical point of discovery and contribution in my own life. And if you'd like to come along with me, then I'll be back, Lord willing, next Monday around 12:15-ish, and we'll continue this conversation. So thank you for joining me. And for those of you that listen to the replay, thank you so much for listening. We're going somewhere. We're going somewhere. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.